Yes, sir. Okay, I know y'all just finished clapping, but I gotta ask y'all again. Round of applause for the gentleman to my right.
Thank you.
Okay, so a month into your retirement, we sitting, the waves are crashing, south of France. You're on the cover of CEO magazine. We got your wine right beside us. You doing retirement pretty cool, man. How's it feel?
It's a graduation. It's not a.
There you go.
It's not a retirement. But it's fun, man. This is something that I think what everybody is seeing now is the plan that's been put in place over the years, and then now, being able to put 10 toes on it and really grab it and say, this is what I want to do and guide it into the direction that I want to guide it into, but also having the opportunity to really be hands-on, right, and understand my vision and making sure that my team understand the vision. And we have fun. We create, we build, and we like to have fun.
So for years, like you've mentioned, you've been building in parallel on and off the court. But particularly over the past 6 months, you were showered with so much love from peers, from people across the media, from people in entertainment. I know you like to play behind the scenes sometime, but what did it feel like to receive all those flowers in that particular moment?
It was amazing. It felt good for the simple fact that I'm finally, I think people got an opportunity to see and understand who I am as a person, just over the years and my growth and maturity in just different ways of and walks of life, and the fact that it's coming to this fruition of this is the end. This is it. This is the next phase of my career, and I think just over the years and what I was able to just stand on and be true to myself and believe in myself when people doubted me. I think my fans and the love it was all genuine. It wasn't forced. It was all genuine. I mean, look, I've been in the game 20 years, right? I've done it for a long time. I've done it at a high level for a long time. And you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And my time my time is now to move on.
There you go. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. So you mentioned 20 years. You got a little bit of time for some activities, man. So what are you looking forward to? This is the pickleball court as well. Pickleball is popping a little bit right now. What we got? What you thinking about in terms of activities?
I don't know, maybe investing in pickleball, but I'm not going to. Pickleball, I'm not going out there to play pickleball. I like it. I love the concept of it.
Sure,
right? I think it's great exercise. But for me to go out there and be a pickleball player, I leave that to everybody else. But I am looking for ways to invest in pickleball, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of deal flow in the building. Y'all heard the man.
Only if I could get this view of a pickleball court.
It's not a bad view. It's not a bad view. You spoke to the thoughtfulness about setting up this next chapter. We're not calling it retirement. You've released a memoir. There's a gentleman who told me he's read the memoir 3 times. Where you at? There he is. He's read the memoir 3 times. You've launched then the 7th Estate. You've launched your production company. Your son is grown into an incredible man, and he's a hooper. How have you been so intentional about building this next chapter?
Again, you have to understand who you are, right, and what you bring to the table, and what's your vision, and what's your mindset, and if people understand that, then they want to be a part of that, because they understand that it's authentic, right? I feel like I'm an authentic commodity in a sense when it comes to just being true to yourself and standing on your ground and understanding where you want to go, being very intentional about what you want to do. And I think over the past 5 to 7 years, I was very intentional on being here today in the sense of wanting to have these different businesses, not wanting to be just the athlete and focus on basketball, but I wanted to see what was going on out there. I understand culture, I understand my culture, I understand my people, and I understand what I bring to the table. And when you have that and you're very intentional with those things, it makes a business plan a lot easier.
So speaking of business, to Melo, the CEO, I'm sure you get inundated with opportunities and things that are interesting to you. How have you all been able to pick and choose your spots, the opportunities that make sense for you as a CEO, as a leader, to move forward with?
Intention.
Yeah.
You know, understand a lot of times when we invest and we looking at companies and businesses, it's more so about the people that we're investing in. We're investing in the people. The idea is the idea, right? But ideas changes. But it's the people that we actually invest in, because those are the people that's going to have to put the sweat equity in there and build this up and every day in their vision. So you believing in their vision, but you also believing in them as people, because if you don't believe in them as people, you're not going to invest in that brand or that company. So it also have to align, right? Brands have to align with one another. You know, you see a lot of brands out there that just may give somebody some money just to be a part of that brand, but it doesn't make sense when you really look at it. And again, we talk about being intentional of who you align yourself with.
So one of the things that I think is really interesting is you've been a hooper for your entire life, but you've also been an entrepreneur. It's been there. What sparked your business acumen, your business effectiveness?
People, you know, people that came before me, understanding the foundation that they've laid for us to be here today as an athlete. Like 10 years ago, we wouldn't have never been here as an athlete. We wasn't coming, you know, we didn't have these opportunities. Only a couple athletes had the opportunities to come overseas and understand what the international landscape is all about. Now you see majority of the people is from America, athletes coming over here talking about building brands and creating, you know, IP and understanding what's going on in the business world. So for me, I've always looked ahead, right? I've always looked internationally, then domestically.
Okay.
Right? Because I always said if you travel and you have these experiences, you could bring these experiences back to where you're at. And a lot of times it makes sense. So when you see, you know, in Miami, you see all of this, right? It's because people come over here and they travel and they experience those things, and they bring that culture back to where back to where they at. So you see now where we at. I mean, this is culture.
That's right.
We've created a culture. I think you guys, Stagwell, did a great job of just creating this culture. This is something that you would never see, and we're talking about sports in particular. This is something that you would have never seen a couple years ago.
So I'm from Maryland, and I feel like I've had courtside seats to the incredible career that you've had. And one of the things that I admire the most, if you look at your team, it's intentionally diverse. You've got black women on your team. You've worked on initiatives that intentionally uplift the community. That's not by happenstance. That's not a coincidence. You've done that with purpose. Elaborate on that.
Well, I'm a part of that environment, so I can't run from it. Right, I have to embrace it. I have to embrace my people. I have to embrace what we go through as people and as a culture. And if I'm the person that's doing, I have to do my job. I have to continue to lead. I have to continue to be that example of perseverance and failure at the same time, right? But also somebody who can get up off their back and move forward when they do get knocked down. So understanding all of that allows me to work better. Because I know where I stand, and I know what's my place, and I know what I want, and I want to work with people that want to work with me, right? That understand what I bring to the table, right? Not just throw you a deal and let's go do this, but no, we're partners. You have to understand my value and what I bring, and I have to understand what's your value and what you're bringing as a brand in the company.
Was there a specific moment that sparked your thoughtfulness around advocacy and building your team the way that you've constructed your team?
Well, when you play sports, you understand team aspect. Okay. You understand what you need to win, right? You understand you need a point guard and you need a big, right?
Right.
And if the point guard and the big don't work together, you ain't gonna win. But you also need somebody who can score, right? So you have to build these teams out. So I have my point guard, right? I'm the scorer, right? But I have my I have my facilitator, though, right? But I'm also, you know, being able to implement these other pieces and these other role players on my team that's very effective. So my role players in certain instances are executives on my team.
Okay.
So you have to be able to play both. You have to be able to be a soldier, and you have to be able to go out there and lead in your own right.
That's a bar. That's a bar. Raise your hand if you're a fan of wine. I need to see every hand in the building. I need to see every hand in the building up. Okay, so
he didn't raise. That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
We didn't see that, little man. We didn't see that. Can we get him a Shirley Temple? this young man up front. You have been passionate about wine for a long time. Let's be real, a lot of us have progressed from the cognacs, maybe we in France, or different types of spirits, but you've been a wine aficionado for some time. When did you develop your passion for wine? What was that moment? What was that sip?
It wasn't a good sip. It was just, man, I was at the bar, right? And I was at the bar, and I asked the bar guy, kind of just pour me what you're pouring today, whatever you have back there. And it just happened to be I don't want to name it, but it just happened to be, something that if I look back on it now with my palate now, it'd be like, why did I do that? But it was an experience, right? So I had to grow. I had to understand that, okay, this is not my palate. This is not what I like. And it took me a while to actually learn the business of the wine, right? So I wasn't so quick to like jump into a wine and put my name and my brand on the wine. Me and my partner, we actually really went to the regions. We went to the Rhone regions, and we sat with the winemakers, and we really taught ourselves this business, this wine industry. That's why we were able to be very strategic when we came into the industry at an entry point, because we were able to see and talk and get on the grounds and understand what was needed and what we needed to bring to the industry.
So this is your wine behind us. Tell us what you love about it, one. And
I'm biased.
And we know. That's why I want you to tell us about it. And then tell us what we'll love about your wine as well. I'm going to take a sip, y'all, if y'all don't mind.
No, you should take a sip. So this is the wine from, actually we went to Chateauneuf-du-Pape to do the wine. And the reason behind it, I wanted to bring the old world to a new legacy, right? And the old world meets new world. And I just think that was a region that my grandmothers and, the older people in our lives know Chateauneuf-du-Pape.
Sure.
And it's one of the most efficient grape, regions that's out there. And I just wanted to try my luck with it. Like, everybody looked at me like, Mello, what the hell are you doing? You going to CDP? Like, nobody knows about this. And we was, again, talk about intention. We was very intentional on going and making a CDP, because I knew I wanted to bring my customer, my fans, to another region and introduce them to something different.
So I see Asani up there. Shout out to Asani.
Big shout out to Asani. She's my co-founder, co-partner.
That's right. So you've launched your estate, then the seventh estate. One of the things that we all know about the space is historically it hasn't been inclusive. It hasn't been diverse. So not only have you taken your subject matter expertise and developed something please have a sip. You got me drinking by myself. And developing something that is incredible, but you've done it in a way that, again, is intentionally inclusive. Can you walk us through the process of what it's been like to break through an industry that historically hasn't had as many people who look like us?
We got lucky. I'll say we have a little bit of luck on our side, because I'll just give you a little quick history on it. We did this in 2017.
Okay.
And it was an idea. We bottled it. We got the profile right, and then COVID hit. And it's been sitting in bottles for damn near 2 years. And as you know, if you drink CDP, the longer it sits, the better it is. So we were able to give people a 5-year leeway by the time people actually got a chance to taste it, right? So we got 5 years on our first vintage, which is incredible, which I say we got, thank you, COVID, in a sense, but not thank you, COVID. But just to answer your question about inclusivity, it's what we built off of. It's what we do. We need it. It's a must. We got to have it. So why not adopt that, and why not embrace that? I have a whole team. My whole team up there is all women.
We see y'all. We see y'all. Round of applause for that.
Big time. So it's all. They're all powerful black women within their lane, within their respect, and I think what they bring to me, it rounds my team out. So it makes it easy for me or for us to say, we gotta have inclusivity, because I'm walking in, I'm talking that talk because I have those means around me, I have those people around me. So.
Y'all, this wine is incredible. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not just saying this because he's beside me. This might be life-changing wine, my brother. So thank you for sharing this with us. Oath of Fidelity. Go get that. Let's talk about your career a bit. You've You've had a career that people would dream of. AAU to Syracuse to the league to the Olympics. If you were to tell high school Melo that you were going to be one of the top 75 players of all time, that you'd be the 9th all-time scorer in NBA history, what would high school Melo tell you?
Get out of here. Because it just wasn't. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't a goal of mine, because it was too far to reach. It was not feasible. It was not feasible for for me to be there. Like, so I didn't have time to dream about that.
Wow.
Growing up, I had to really figure out day to day. So dreaming about making it to the NBA, especially when they tell you 1 out of every X will make it,
right.
You're looking like I don't have a shot in hell, because they're not coming to West Baltimore to come get me, right? So it's like you don't have any hope. You didn't have any dreams. So when I make it, I made it. And, so the day that I said in my memoir, for the guy who read it 3 times, thank you for that. I said it, the day that I shook the David Stern hands, that's the day I made it.
That's crazy.
And that was my goal at that point. So everything else after that is a positive. So to tackle 19 years after that with no dream, no goal of doing something, I adapted and I made it the best for me.
You definitely made it the best. So two decades later, what do you feel like your legacy is on and off the court? And legacy is a word that gets thrown out a lot on debate shows, and it's kind of annoying. But I want us to talk about this holistically, because you've done so much on and off the court.
I think legacy is relative, right? It's everybody's legacy is different. Everybody's definition of legacy is different. For me, my legacy is my morals, my belief, my faith, what I stand on. That's my legacy, because with that, my kids can follow that, because they have a foundation that was laid that they can follow, right? They have a role model that they can follow. They have somebody who been through so many things, bounced back, persevered, and still being able to smile through all the chaos, right? So hence why I created Stay Mellow, right? Like, it's a mindset. It's not a clothing brand. It's a mindset. When in doubt, you stay mellow, right? It keeps you calm. It makes you focus. It makes you be intentional. And that was the big reason why we started Stay Mellow.
I think it's interesting. I asked you about legacy, and within a few words, you mentioned your kids. Observing your career, players have always talked about how they loved you as a teammate. Specifically in the bubble, you were a pillar for a lot of the young guys because it was hard to be there. One of the stories that I love that's being told a lot more is the leadership. Melo is the mentor, is the big bro, is the OG. And we're seeing it with your son, who is an incredible hooper and young man. Talk to us about Melo, the leader, the mentor, the OG, the bro.
Again, it's real. It's authentic. You know what I mean? So what you're hearing, it's because I'm authentic to who I am. I stand on what I stand on. I'm gonna give it to you the way that you need to hear it. And it's not disrespectful, right? When it's time for me to give you your credit and give you your flowers, I give you your flowers. But when it's time for me to let you know that, hey, don't go that way, do it this way, then I'm gonna give you that. And I think the fact that I can come to you in that way from somebody I've been through it all, especially when it comes to sports, like in business. Like in sports, I've been at the highest, I've been at the lowest, I've experienced it. So I was a leader, and then I had to take a role player position, right? So now you learn how to adjust, you learn how to double dutch that, right? So when you adapt, it makes things a lot easier. So now people feel like they could come talk to you about everything because you've been through it from top to bottom.
That's right. So a month ago, we mentioned this. You dropped this video that was a bit of a tearjerker, I ain't gonna lie, and the whole world was talking about it. But what was really special about this video is he essentially passed the basketball crown to his son. We've watched you be an incredible father over the years. I would love to hear about what it feels like to see your son grow up to be such an incredible young man and a great hooper too.
Yeah, when you got kids, man, it's just different. It's hard to explain it, right? And you, especially when you have a son that is following your lead.
Footsteps.
So now you know, okay, I can plant this seed in him, or I can do this because he's ready to follow that. So once my son came to me and said he was ready to jump into it, I was ready.
Okay.
I was waiting for him. And if he would have said, Dad, this is not what I want to do, then I would have been waiting for him to ready to do something else.
So he proactively.
He was very proactive, you know, with his decision of, okay, this is what I want to do. So when your kids come to you and say, Dad or Mom, I'm ready, then it's go time. It's go time.
The face of the league is changing rapidly. So would love to hear from Melo, the OG. Take a sip. Take a sip. Who are some of the young guys in the league that you're like, yo, he's nice? And not only is he nice, but he got that Melo in him. He can score at all 3 levels. He got a deep bag.
This is a trick question. I saw the cameras go up. It's a trick question because I try to stay away from where I did it this way, and I don't want to be the old basketball player. Like when I played, I did it this way. I think that's the worst mentality to have. Right? But there's a lot of young talent coming into this league today, man, and it's exciting and it's scary at the same time because how talented and skilled these guys are coming into the league now, younger, 17, 18, and even you go younger than that, 15, 16, when they talking about now coming out of high school again. So it's the talent level is at an all-time high. So the NBA is definitely in good hands off the court and on the court. But then you have guys, I know somebody who's going through a lot right now, but somebody like Ja Morant to me, like he's a little brother to me, regardless of what the mistakes he's made, he got to deal with that. He got to face that. But the talent level, you can't take that away. So he just got to balance that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Get that right. Then you also have, the Jokic. Congratulations to him. Right. And, he's young. Like, the Lucas is young. The Giannis's of the world is young. So, and we're talking about bringing it back to earlier, those are international players.
That's a good call. Yeah.
Coming over to the NBA and creating a culture and bringing it back overseas, right? So it was reversed earlier when I was talking about coming here and bringing it back. They're taking the culture and spreading that word around the world. So Jason Tatum's is somebody who, I like to say, like, he comes, he got the Melo bag.
He got the
right?
Melo bag.
You got young Paolo, who's, the top pick.
Paolo's here,
too.
So,
Paolo is somebody who I'm very close with and talk to and mentor. Tatum is somebody I talk to and mentor. So I try to give all the young guys, man, opportunity to just give them the information, but not just give it to them. Let them know how to do it. Like, show them how to do it.
That's good.
Because we can talk all day about how to do something.
Yeah.
But if I don't show you how to do it, then what's the point of us having that conversation? What's the point of using me as an asset?
That's a business lesson, too, for those who missed that bar, who missed that gem. Oftentimes in leadership, we talk at people, we talk to people, but sometimes it requires you to show them what winning looks like, show them what getting it done looks like. So shout out to you for that. You've always been sturdy. You've always been valid in that particular right. You also answered that question very diplomatically. Melo the diplomat, we see you. Okay, you've always been kind of on the forefront of fashion style. You've always been a swaggy dude. You've worked with the Jordan brand. What's your favorite Jordan silhouette? Let's take it to shoes real quick. You got a favorite. I know you got a favorite.
No, I mean, I have a couple, like, of my own.
Of course,
my own signature shoe. So I would say my own signature shoe. But as far as that AJ goes, it was the 2 for me will always be, top of the top, because I had a chance to kind of revive the 2 back when I was in Denver with the Denver Nuggets 2s. That's right. So the 2 will always be one of my favorites, and the 3s was like, the 3s is the one.
And they versatile, too.
And they versatile. I couldn't say the AJ one because that's just too typical. Like, everybody gonna say that. But the 2 and the 3 for me is like, all right, these are the 2 that really can talk about I can give you every experience from my life about those 2 sneakers right there.
So media, you have your own media company. Consumption is changing. People aren't necessarily sitting in front of the television and watching 4 hours worth of hoop or a live game. You've done podcasting. You've been deeply embedded in the culture. 2 questions. What music are you listening to these days? That's 1. And 2, what podcasts are you into?
Well, music is relative to where I'm at that point in time, right? If I'm over here, I want to listen to something a little more mellowed out, right? I may throw if I want to vibe, I may throw some Afro beats on. I may throw some Timbs on. I may that's the vibe for me, right? Osaka and those, like those. That's the. I just said a name that you ain't think I knew that name. Shout out to the Nigerians in here, man. But these are. I have to get that international feel and that vibe if I'm over here. If I'm in the States, then it's turn up, right? It's Baby, it's Thugger, it's those, it's that Lil Durks of the world. Mm-hmm. You want to turn up, so you got to be able to turn it off and turn it on, and adjust to where you at.
Okay. All right, so there are dozens of business executives, leaders that are here and that are through Cannes Lion. I believe this is your first time here at Cannes Lion. What are you looking to learn from executives, from leaders, from like-minded folks as yourself while here?
Just the mindset, right? And the value is a conversation.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on. I want to hear it. Like, this is what we all here for, right? We're here to talk and mingle and try to figure shit out. Like, pardon my French. But for me, I like to talk to people and understand what's going on in different industries and try to observe and see where I can step in that, or if I can help in any other type of way, or if I can be that connector and connect those dots with people. Maybe it's not for me, maybe it's for somebody else, but I'll introduce you. And for me, it's community, right? This is a community right here. Everybody's here because of community, and everybody's trying to learn and get this information to figure out what's next. And I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to get this information to figure out what's next. How can we keep this moving? How can we keep growing? And maybe bring Stagwell to be more or something like that. And let's keep this going. I like this. I like this vibe and this feel of what it brings.
So I mentioned earlier that you're on the cover of CEO magazine, and I want to clap it up. The cover. You know what I mean? And I'm intentionally sounding like a broken record about this because we are in the south of France. We are here at Cannes Lion. And for years, Cannes and these types of events have looked a certain way. And I look out at this room, and I see all shapes, shades, sizes. I see people standing up, listening to you. That's the importance of culture, right? And this is reflective of the society that we live in. You mentioned diversity in that particular piece, and this is a great reflection of what you are capable of doing. Talk about why, as a business leader, diversity continues to be a pillar for you and your wonderful team.
Well, I mean, I think it's been one way for so long, right? Traditionally, shit just been going one way for so long, right? And doors has been closed for people like myself and yourself. And I think now that we're recognizing our power as a people and our power as a community, and when we come together, we're very, very powerful. We make things happen, and we bring different aspects and assets to what we do and where we at, which is why we can sit up here on the beach in Cannes where you said it ain't looked like this before. Yeah. Now you have culture. Now you have cultural relevance here in France, in Cannes, sitting here talking about building businesses internationally and domestically. Yeah. So we've come a long way. So now we would take this experience back to where we at and say, how can we continue to grow that? How can we continue to bring that diversity and inclusion into what we're doing? And when you really stand on that, you're really about that, it's easy. Yeah. It makes it easy. You just know what you want and know what you don't want. You know what you're going to allow. You know what you're not going to allow. That's good. So you allow the dead leaves and, to just fall by the wayside, and you continue going and doing what you're doing.
That's good. Okay, we're going to do rapid fire with the Carmelo Anthony. Before we get into rapid fire, this is completely random and off the cuff. Your glasses game has been elite for years, yo. Let's talk about it. When were you like, you know what, I'm going to be the dude who wears the swaggy frames, and how many do you own?
I only wear 3 pair of glasses.
Okay.
You know, over the years, I've had glasses, but you just get comfortable, man. It's like your favorite pair of jeans, right? You always put your jeans on and feel comfortable, and they mold to you, and when you put those on, you feel a certain type of way. So it's these and one more.
Okay.
And that's it. But I found myself it's a part of who I am now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Gotta have them.
Okay. All right, rapid fire. Y'all ready? Hoodie Mellow or Olympic Mellow? They both get buckets. That's a tough one. Oh, you ain't think about this one, huh?
I'm gonna say Hoodie Mellow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because Hoodie Mellow was a mindset.
Okay.
So I
Can
would
you elaborate on that real quickly?
Well, it created because I was in the gym training, trying to lock in. It really was, I was trying to get in shape, and wanted to just lock in and threw the hoodie on, and from there it became something. But it was more so of a locked-in mindset, and just throw the hoodie on and just lock into what I had to do.
Okay, 2 more quick ones. Game-winning bucket or game-winning stop?
I'm a bucket.
Yeah, we know that. White or red wine?
Red.
Okay, number 7 or number 15? We know the answer to this.
7.
Score 50 points or a triple-double?
50.
Woo, he's a bucket. He can't
Yeah,
help
I mean, I'm a scorer. So 50.
MSG or Staples Center? We not calling it crypto. Or we are.
MSG.
Okay, all right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for a legend.
Thank you, guys.
Carmelo Anthony. All right, appreciate y'all. And go get the wine. I'm telling you, go get the wine.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you all.